Hey, Jake, my man, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Hey Elijah, I'm doing well, man. As we were talking before I hopped on, my kid's got an ear infection. I was dealing with taking calls in my car in the pharmacy parking lot, picking up antibiotics, but that's what it's all about, man. Fitting my job into my life and my life into my job.
Beautiful. And I hope your son get better so soon. So thank you so very much for being here, my man. Thank you so very much. You see, I truly appreciate it. And you see, Jake, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become an anthem for me. So firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, Jake, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now, right here, because you did invest it in yourself. And oftentimes, my man, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, Jake, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, by tall, I mean very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Jake, just recently I was on that same road. Hmm. And this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance. And immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a wonderful, lovely moment that day. I was so excited. There is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Jake that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, the impact your work is having, your philosophy, your insight, how you are offering your solutions. These stuffs are amazing. And just before you got the request from me, Jake, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Jake is doing. Not only me now, but even the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Jake. So thank you so very much for doing that to yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Elijah,
Yeah.
it's such kind words. I really, really appreciate that. I don't know what I did to deserve them, but it makes me smile, so appreciate that.
Awesome. And you truly deserve them, I tell you. I tell you. It's wonderful what you're doing. So let's get started. You see, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today, Jake, for some reasons. Let's see. Two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. You see, I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Jake, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, Jake, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very, very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Jake on the show is for the sake of the listeners. They say, Jake, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Jake, my man, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Jake got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Jake, over to you.
So, introduction. I fell into all of this very accidentally, and I've started to see um, some moderate success, but I feel like I'm still at the very, very beginning of my journey. But I started my career out in China. I spent a year and a half teaching English and studying Mandarin, which was a pretty unbelievable experience. I highly recommend everybody, if you can, take some time to go experience other cultures. It's really great for a worldview to understand that the place you live is probably not the center of the universe, and to get a good sense of how other people live their lives. It's one of the most incredible experiences that I ever uh, got to have. So, but I started my career in finance. Was not for me. Started a company, crashed and burned spectacularly. Went and worked for a large enterprise company for a while, and found my way into marketing. And I've been doing that ever since. I started this new agency in August, and it's been a really incredible journey. We're up to about 12 employees and a handful of clients, and it's just been so gratifying. I am just unbelievably grateful for the opportunity to do this, and every day I wake up and I'm just so excited to get to do this work. It is challenging, and it is stressful, and sometimes it makes me want to cry, but it's all mine, and I get to kind of dictate my day to day. And so that's what I've been doing.
Beautiful. And you see, what stood out the most is with the way it looks challenging, and sometimes you want to cry, but yet you still did not give up. You're still pushing through. And that's really inspiring, because not many people would want to keep enduring something like that. They would have given up a long time ago. So folks like that, when they get to listen to you speak, they feel like, I think I really need to change my ways. Look at man like Jake, keep pushing through. That's beautiful. So let us talk. You mentioned marketing, all right? So let's talk about my Google profile, or my Google business profile. How can I use my Google business profile effectively? I feel this is a very important one too.
Yeah, I mean, there's some basics that you have to take care of, like name, address, phone number, make sure all the information is correct, make sure there's some good looking photos. But the biggest thing is reviews. You need to reach out to people and get reviews constantly. Um, if there's multimedia in there, if people are posting photos for their reviews, if they're putting videos, that's a bonus. If it's been a while, you can always reach out to folks who've left reviews and get them to just put a couple edits in, maybe upload a photo. But if you are looking for low hanging fruit, if you are a service based business, your Google business profile can be your lifeblood. Make sure that there's a phone number attached. If people can book appointments through there, make sure you make that possible. Reviews is really, it's almost the highest return on investment in any kind of marketing that one person can have. If your information is up to date and you're getting lots of reviews, the reach, especially for local businesses and service-based businesses, that you can get from Google Profile is absolutely profound.
Absolutely profound. Okay, I would see to that, and I'll try to utilize that information you just shared now. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, let us look at the healthcare aspect. Which marketing tactics work best in healthcare?
I'm apprehensive to say what works best. I think it really depends on what kind of practice you have, how many physicians there are, how many locations you have. I am always partial to search engine optimization. I think you need to have that local SEO component where your Google business profile is working, you're getting relevant backlinks and citations, and um, you are trying to connect with other local folks on guest posts. Um, but in general, global SEO, just to me, is one of the most important places you can start, because it helps you set your strategy and it helps you think about your patients in terms of what their search intent is going to be. And what I mean by that is SEO is a game of figuring out how people are going to find you and then optimizing the content you put out, specifically keywords that you're trying to rank for, so that people can find you for those things. Now, for healthcare, that's typically the conditions that you treat. and then the treatments that you offer. And within those, there's going to be some differentiators that are unique to you. So I always like to start with that because you can always expand. There's so much that you can do within marketing. And when you have a good idea about how people are finding you and what's important and what's unique about you, and you go through the doing high quality keyword research, you can then extrapolate that into organic social media. You can do that in paid ads. You can do it into a newsletter. But I would always start with SEO. The other place that I think is really underutilized is email marketing, having some kind of newsletter, especially if the conditions that you treat are something that's chronic, where you can be giving out advice regularly that people are looking to educate themselves on. And then if you're treating patients in any kind of holistic way, or if it's more of like an integrative model, or like a multidisciplinary, where you can talk about either preventive care or whole person care, it's really fertile ground for putting out lots of content. So I think that newsletters are really effective. One of the most direct, outside of a phone number or a text message, or I guess a call or a text message, it is the most direct way you can get in touch with your patients. People rarely, if ever, change their email addresses. And most importantly, the algorithms don't affect it. If Meta decides to change something about the Instagram algorithm that will affect your reach, this will not. That I think is a really great place to start: SEO and emails and newsletter.
Beautiful. That's so true. The algorithm will never be able to affect it because it's just like owning your own social media. So you're in charge now and your own people. I got that. So what marketing platform should one focus on? Do you have any idea? So,
Well, I've been preaching recently about trying to test lots of different platforms before you decide on one, unless you have a really strong understanding of where your patients are hanging out. If you know, for instance, let's say you're working in chronic pain and you know the majority of the people who follow you are on LinkedIn and on Facebook, then you should be on LinkedIn and Facebook. But until you know that, what we try to do is produce content that can be repurposed into all sorts of different platforms, and then test all of them and see where you're getting the most engagement. And an easy way to do that without getting too deep into the weeds is recording a video of yourself, a long form video talking about a highly relevant topic, something that's evergreen that will always be relevant to your patients, and then taking the transcript, turning that into a LinkedIn post, like a long form LinkedIn post, or taking snippets and turning them into a carousel post on LinkedIn, taking the snippets and putting them onto a text post on Facebook or on Instagram, taking the short form video, putting that onto YouTube Shorts, putting it onto Instagram Reels, putting it onto TikTok, putting it onto LinkedIn, and basically experiment. You can take one piece of content, and I like to say use every piece of the content buffalo. Repurpose it and try to publish it to as many platforms as you can. You can use a social media scheduling tool so that it's pretty seamless to do that. And then after you do that, for a few weeks, a few months, you'll start to see patterns. And if you start to see that, everybody on Facebook engages, but nobody on Twitter engages, or nobody on LinkedIn engages, then you have some anecdotal evidence that you should be focusing on Facebook. And that should help inform where you focus more of your time.
wow. That's a wise approach, and I love that. I love that. Okay, still on the aspect of healthcare. All right. Why are physician videos important? Did you get that?
Yeah. I think there's a statistic on the amount of time that physicians spend with patients in the exam room, and I think it's. I'm still recording. I'll keep going. There's this statistic about the amount of time that physicians spend with patients in the exam room. I think it's about 12 or 15 minutes, and it's not a lot of time, especially if you're a patient who has a chronic condition where there are a lot of question marks, there's lots of potential treatments, and you're not entirely sure what direction you should go in. So any touch point that you can have with a patient outside the exam room that builds trust, that builds rapport, that helps people understand that you are an expert in the space and you have the unique treatment that's going to make their lives significantly better is hugely beneficial. And so short form video is obviously the media type that is most consumed today. So you have that going for you. People are just getting all of their news and entertainment in short form video. And in addition to that, being able to connect with them on a deeper level where they're already consuming content is only going to strengthen your relationship with them, either for existing patients or convince new patients to come and see you. So it's extremely important.
I got that. So what about this part? Do you think patients really wants to receive emails?
The short answer is yes. The long answer is if a patient doesn't want to receive your email, then they don't want to receive your email and they should unsubscribe, and that's totally fine. You want to be reaching people who want to hear your message and want to engage with you. And by the way, there could be patients who love you who don't want to get your emails, and that's totally fine. But it's kind of I talk to people all the time who tell me they don't want text messages, they don't want phone calls, they don't want emails, they don't want to hear from brands ever. Marketing doesn't work on them. They just don't want to hear from anybody. And the data shows otherwise. If you have a well-crafted email, open rates are extremely high and click-through rates are extremely high. If it's a relevant offer, if it's not AI slop, if it's well thought out and well written and it's real information that people are looking for and that they want, then it will be well received. So I think if you go about it haphazardly and you're writing emails that you yourself wouldn't want to read, that's maybe not the best benchmark because it's about your target patient, not about yourself. But content has to be compelling. There's a lot of people who like to talk about, I think it's a pretty classic debate about the attention spans of people in the United States being extremely low today, when at the same time you have people who are binge watching 7 straight hours of Netflix or HBO. So people will consume good content. So I don't buy that your patients don't want to read emails. Your patients don't want to read bad emails. They don't want to read emails that are not compelling, that don't provide value.
That's so true. They don't want to read bad emails. Emails that ain't compelling. I got that. I got that. That's a wise one. Okay, so lastly, okay, how do one build a cost-effective global team?
Sorry, Elisha, I missed it. How does one build a cost-effective what?
Global team. Global team.
Oh, a cost-effective global team.
Yeah, yeah.
The first way to build a cost-effective global team is to do all of the hiring yourself, which I do. Relying on an outsourced agency will eat into your margins dramatically. And there are benefits to having somebody do the vetting and the hiring and the management for you, but I would much prefer to own that relationship and feel like the employee is actually mine than outsource it to somebody else where my employee is working through an intermediary and has this other person who they're engaging with, to kind of dictate the terms of our engagement. So that's the first way, because, if you're paying somebody in the Philippines $10 or $15 an hour, and an agency is going to charge you $25 or $30 an hour, obviously it's twice as expensive. So that's the first way to be cost effective. The second way is to, when you start hiring remote talent, it's easy to get lazy about checking on performance. I like to hire fast and fire fast. If I see somebody and I have a good feeling about them, I'll give them a shot. I'll give them some work. I'll pay them hourly and get them started as quickly as possible so I can see whether we have a good rapport and we can have a good working relationship. And then I'll decide whether or not it's a good fit from there. And I'll work with them for, in some cases, we do one project, it doesn't work out, they move on. In some cases, we work for a few months together and then we move on. And in most cases, I've had people working for me since I launched this agency. It's been it's like 10 months so far. And I've had people who've been with me the whole time who I couldn't imagine not having on the team, who I constantly am reminding that, they are a part of this. And as much as they want to be, you know, owners in this business, and I don't just mean this in the, from an autonomy perspective where they own their role. I mean, from a literal equity perspective, I want these people to be with me forever. So making good decisions, hiring, firing, if it doesn't work out, not being afraid to, I've had many, many candid conversations with workers where they're not doing the job I think that they should be doing. And oftentimes it's my fault. I haven't set clear enough expectations. I haven't given them clear enough directions. I think having that radical ownership perspective is really important, because almost certainly the onus falls on the boss to give better instructions. And, if you're not giving good tasks that are going to benefit you, you're wasting time and money. So I think having a really clear understanding of why you're hiring this person and what their job is going to be will also save you tons of money and heartache in the long run.
That's so true. And thank you for explaining it that way, making it quite easy to understand. So to bring this to an end, Jake, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who like to reach out to you, learn more about everything of this, or even want to ask questions, how can that be?
As a final thought, for those who are interested in working with me, you can reach me at patientprocure.com. I'm happy to do an audit of your systems. We can have a conversation about what an engagement would look like. I really encourage you to just reach out to me. I live a give first life. I'm happy to do audits and give my opinion with, no conditions, no quid pro quo. Happy to just take a look and help out where I can. Happy to take a look and help out where I can. For those listeners who are on the fence about starting a company and are interested in entrepreneurship, I'm happy to have a conversation with you and tell you all the reasons why it's a good idea to start. It's not for everybody. Entrepreneurship can be extremely painful, but if you are somebody who has trouble in a normal 9 to 5 because you feel like you don't fit that mold, or you feel like there's something out there for you that you can't articulate properly, or you feel like you want to be your own boss, I think you should do it. I think you should take the leap. Try it out. Hit me up if you want to talk about it. I'm happy to, bounce ideas back and forth.
Beautiful. Take the leap. Try it out. I got that. So that's going to be the end of the show, my man. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. Means a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Elijah. Appreciate you, brother.